Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my demonstration this afternoon. My name is Michelle O'Neill, and I am from Cherry Tree Equine. We have a little business which is based out of the Monero, and I travel and do a lot of clinics. I run clinics around the country, but we run clinics at our own home, which we call Clinics on the Trail. And Clinics on the Trail are basically about getting people out, getting them safe, and getting them out and enjoying the countryside with their horses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few little techniques here this afternoon which are about being safe when you're out trail riding, and being confident that you know what your horse is going to do when you're out enjoying a ride. Now, this ride might be by yourself, it might be with friends, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, we come across a lot of people who are not that confident to ride their horses out of the arena. We have a lot of people turn up who dream of being able to ride around in open country. We're lucky enough to have 2,500 acres that we get to play on every day. And you know, that's a big thing for a lot of people. It's a big thing to be able to ride out in those big open spaces and feel safe and secure and enjoy the experience. So, you know, there's a lot of things we can do that will help us to make the most of that. There's a lot of things that you can do at home before you even head out on the trail that will make sure that when you go out into a 400-acre paddock, that you and your horse are both safe. I'm going to show you a few techniques here today with some replicated situations. It's important to note that I'm very big on having a really strong foundation on my horses before I go off being too adventurous. But it's also important to note that I'm a really big fan of getting my horses out of the arena. I do a lot of my work on my young horses. I breed all my own competition horses, and those young competition horses, they spend very little time actually on an arena as young horses. I get them out, I get them in the bush, I get them out doing stuff. And it's not only good for their body, but it's good for their mind. So if they're out and they're doing things and they have to think about where they're putting their feet and stuff, they're learning how to carry themselves, that they're out there, looking around. There's stuff for them to look at which isn't just, a 70 by 30 sand arena. They can actually get out and have a bit of a break, have a mental break, and build a lot of fitness and strength while they're doing that. But, when I get on my horses, when I start working my horses, I'm really big on having horses soft and flexed. I'm really big on horses being able to move around. And I'm big on being able to move their body parts. I don't care whether your horse is a trail riding horse and he never does anything else, or if your horse is a Grand Prix show jumper. At the end of the day, everything we do is being able to move our horse's body parts forwards, backwards, left and right. So, if I can do that with my horse, I know I'm going to be safe, because I know he's going to respond to any situation I put him in accordingly. Now, you might be out on the trail and you might start riding around, and your horse might feel a little fresh. He might be a little, excited, and, home might be down that way, and he's starting to get a little more interested in what everyone else is doing other than what you're asking him to do. So if I'm in that situation on a young horse, or an older horse even, I will head straight to a circle. Now, in this case, if I'm out on the trail, I'll use something as a bit of a marker to help guide me and to give me something to focus on. Now, I'm using my barrel carvers here. If you're out on the trail, this could be a rock, it could be a tree, it could be a post, anything that gives you something to focus on. And I'm really big on, if you come to my horsemanship clinics, I'm a really big believer in being able to ride perfect circles. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, I believe it's a really important training tool. Okay, I will all the clinics I've run in my career and all the horses I've asked to go out and ride a perfect circle, or the people I've asked to go out and ride a perfect circle, I probably had 2 or 3 over that time that could, without warning, ride out onto this arena and ride a perfect circle. Because it takes a lot of mental concentration and physical work. So if I'm riding this horse around on a perfect circle, I'm out in the trail, he's feeling a little fresh, and I'm like, okay, we'll just do some circles. If I'm thinking so hard about where he's going and where his feet are going, if I'm focused on nothing else other than the line of my circle, I really don't have a lot of time to be thinking about the fact that he's feeling a little fresh. If I'm not concentrating on the fact that he's feeling a little fresh, nor is he. If I'm riding around here, if I'm riding out across the paddock and I'm going along like this and I'm thinking, oh gee, oh he feels a little tense, oh I don't know what's going to happen, that nervousness that is running through your mind translates into your muscles. So straight away, that tension in your legs, your hand, your upper body changes the way you sit on the horse. So you're going from being relaxed and calm, heels down, shoulders back, bum in saddle, classic safe riding position, to where you start to go like this. We don't want that, because when you're like this, you're kind of in that ejectory position where if that horse does anything, you haven't got a great deal of hope of actually holding him together and staying in the saddle. So I go out and I find my rock or my tree, and I'm trotting around, and I'm working really, really hard on maintaining that perfect circle. Now, I'm focused, he's focused, because he's paying attention to what I'm asking him to do. And what that then does, if I've got his feet busy, I've got his mind busy. He doesn't have time to think about being nervous and wound up and scared. Okay, he has to be paying attention to me. Now there's one more advantage to keeping your horse on a small circle like this. I already have my horse flex to the inside of the circle because I'm trotting my perfect circle. So let's say this horse bounces forward and decides he wants to leave. I'm already set up to pull my horse into my one rein stop. My one rein stop is that thing that will save me. My one rein stop is my safety brake, so that when things aren't going well or I'm a little concerned, I can pull him around and he can't go anywhere and I am safe. Now, I would rather you guys pull your horse into a one rein stop when it wasn't necessary than you keep going and your horse get wound up and you get into trouble. You do them no harm by pulling them into one rein stops. The more you can bend and flex your horses, the softer you can get them, the better they're going to be to ride anyway. So, if you're trotting around here and your horse feels a little tense, pull him into a one rein stop, kick back for a minute, gather your composure, let him gather his, and then ride him on again. No harm has been done. So now, as we're going around, and our horse is starting to settle a little bit, because this is hard work. This going around in small circles, that's hard for a horse. They have to use their body and they have to work to keep this circle going. But if your horse is still feeling a little fresh and you feel like you don't really have control of the situation, make your circle a little tighter and start spiralling in. Now we're using that marker, whether it's a tree or a rock, as our reference point. So I'm asking this horse to get closer and closer and closer. Now he's really working. Now that's really hard. Because I've increased the bend in this horse to achieve this, I'm even closer to my one rein stop. You know, always remember, it's the easiest thing for your horse to do is to stand still and do nothing. The second easiest thing for him to do is to go in a straight line. And then the third easiest thing for him to do is a big circle. So a small circle is a lot of hard work. So if I'm still riding around, I'm spiralling down, getting smaller, making him work, bending him around my legs, holding my hands, just soft and supple. I don't want to be in a tug of war with this horse. Okay? If I pick up on this horse and start pulling on his head, I'm only creating resistance. I want my inside rein to be directing this horse around. Remember, we're not talking about a Grand Prix dressage horse. We're talking about a horse that's a little wound up when you take him out in the trail. You need to be able to pick up on that inside rein and bend him around. So I'm spiralling back out now. See how calm he is when he gets back to the slightly bigger circle. If he's calm and he's settled, you might want to go on to do something else. But if he still feels a little wound up, if he still feels like he's a little too forward, if you'd like to work him a bit more, just spiral back to your circle. Bring him back down and get as close to that tree or that rock or the garbage can. If you're, riding down the road, wheelie bins make fantastic markers. Get him in here and keep him going around. Keep him going around. Make him work. And then let him drift back out again. Bring him back out to your bigger circle and see how he feels. And see how you feel. If you get out to that bigger circle and you start to get a little bit tense and worried and wound up again, just go back to that small circle. Nobody says that you have to be able to get on your horse and ride out and head out to the other side of the state. Okay? There's no timeline on this sort of stuff. You can take as long as you need to. So, once you've got your horse to where he's relaxed on your bigger circle and everything's going kind of well, you might find another tree or another rock nearby that you can start to do a figure of 8 around. Because when you do your figure of 8, you're asking for a change of direction. So what you're doing is you're giving that horse that opportunity to kind of test how he is actually listening to you. If you come through the middle here and that horse sticks his head up in the air and leaves, you know he needs a little bit more work. You know you need to get him a little softer and you need to do a bit more to get him tired and paying attention to you. So change direction through the centre. If he does it pretty nice, you know things are going pretty well and you know he's listening to you. Okay? Now you might do that change. It might not be good, so you might stay here for a bit. Do some spirals on this circle. Let him work his way in. He's only winning because he thinks it's hard work. Keep him here. And then work your way back out. Work your way back out. And change direction. And you can see him stick his head up and stiffen up a little bit through the change. We don't want that. I want him to be soft and supple and react like nothing's going on. Like that. Now this horse is kind of broke. So, your horse might not travel like this horse does. That's fine. I'm not saying trail riding horses have to travel in a frame and be like this, but if I change direction, I don't care where their heads are, as long as it's not above my belt buckle. Anytime your horse's head rises up past your belt buckle, he's generally fixing to be somewhere else. And I'm not very keen on that feeling these days. So your horse might just trot along like this bloke. But you can see he's looking around, but he's not actually thinking about going somewhere else. That builds my confidence in him, okay? Builds his confidence in me. When you get your horse and you're riding around, you might be riding along. And this is an exercise that I use a lot in clinics and I use it in the arenas. But it's one of my favourites for any horse that's is not focused as much as I would like it to be. And it's called a guiding exercise, and it's kind of a lot of fun to do out on the trail, because what you can do is it challenge you to actually let this horse go loose. Now, can you guys see this horse is drifting a bit to the right? So I am going to turn him the opposite direction. It doesn't matter where you go. Now he's drifting to the left. I'll turn him the opposite direction. Like, he's a little unfocused today, you know, he's winning out to his mates. He's a bit dirty because he had to come out here and do work and they got left behind. Now he's looking at you guys. Now, imagine if you're doing this out in the trail. You've got obstacles. You've got things like trees and fences and stuff in front of you. And that makes this a little more interesting, because what we want is we want this horse to go wherever you ask him to go. So when I want you to do this on a loose rein at a big log and wonder why he jumps, okay, if you've got a show jumper, I wouldn't recommend that. But like this horse who isn't inclined to jump anything, when I tried him straight up here, he just goes straight to the fence because I didn't tell him to deviate. I just sat on him on a loose rein and asked him to trot forward. So now if he stops, unless I might be out in the bush and there might be trees in front of me or a log on the ground, you know, and you do it at the walk, you don't feel you have to do it at the trot. I just do it at the trot to show you guys so I can cover a bit more ground. But, you know, if you're out in the paddock or out in the bush and you do something like this, think about the little logs and all those things he's going to have to step around and step over. And when he comes to a big tree in front of him, he should just stop. So literally, if my barrel covers were a tree and I was going along on a loose rein like this, and a tree was in front of this horse, he should walk up there and just stop like that. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I can ride a horse around on a loose rein and he just goes wherever I send him, and when an obstacle is in front of him, he knows to not go around it if I didn't tell him to do anything, that's a horse that's listening to me, and that's a horse that I can have a fair bit of confidence in. And you know, if I turn him around here and trot him out over this way, like we're headed to this fence at about 45 degrees. He should just ride in here and stop. He drifted, so I'll turn him back around, we'll go the other way. Now I want him to trot over here, me do nothing, and I want him to stop. If I'm out in the trail and my horse does that, I'm pretty safe that there's not much that's going to get me in trouble. Okay? You can practice this in the arena. You don't need to get out in the trail and suddenly go, oh my God, I'm going to do all this stuff. You can do this at home where you're nice and safe, and then when you get out in the trail, you're going to have some fun. You get out in a paddock. You know, I'll do this in a paddock with jump wings. You know, places like places like CEC where there's the paddock with the jumps in it. Get out in amongst them. See where he goes. Make sure the rails and everything are safe before you go and do it. You know, and when your horse does stop, let him stop. When he comes in here like this and he kind of chills out, that's his reward. Okay, I was talking before about, when I was doing groundwork, about rewarding horses. You know, this horse is pretty happy to stand here right now because he knows the instant I put my leg on him, he's going to have to go and do something. And anyone who knows T knows he's not particularly keen on doing anything. So right now, apart from the fact that I'm sitting on his back and he hasn't got food in front of him, he thinks his life is pretty good. That's about as good a reward as this horse is going to get. While I'm sitting here and I'm giving him that reward, and it's interesting, he's looking around, his nostrils are flaring and stuff, he's whinnying, but he knows to not move his feet, okay? That's kind of cool. If I go out on a trail ride, and when I take the clinics on the trail, obviously I have a big group of people of very varying abilities. I need to know that if I go to stop because someone's in trouble or someone needs help or you know, something's going on, I need to know my horse is going to stop. You know, it's all good saying we're going trail riding, but part of the riding part is the stopping part. You know, this critter, he's pretty cool to stand here as long as I ask him to, because he knows the instant he moves, we're going to have to do something, okay? So, you know, I'm pretty happy with that. And while we're on the issue of stopping, if you go to stop a horse, if your horse deserves a break, if you just feel the need to pat him because he's being so good, notice where my hand is. It's on his bum. He's about to prove me wrong and decide he wants to work. If I wasn't telling you this story right now, right about now I'd be trotting back across that arena. Note where I pat him. I pat him on the bum. Think about jockeys. Where do jockeys sit? Up here. They're like this. When you pat your horse, your body position naturally comes forward in the saddle. Okay? And if my horses, they're trained that When I sit down, that means slow down. When I go forward, that means go. So think about all of your horses. When you sit forward like this, even if you just do this to give them a pat, look how much my body position changes when I reach forward to pat him, okay? If I sit back and pat him on the bum, I'm sitting on my bum. My heels are down. My heels naturally start to sink down. I'm sitting on my pockets. My shoulders are relaxed, and I'm calm and quiet in the saddle. That is the ultimate cue to tell this horse to not go anywhere. So, you know, just little things. I was talking about groundwork this morning, talking about body language this morning in my groundwork demo. You know, that's just something to remember. Your body language when you're on the horse means as much as your body language on the ground. So, you know, take that opportunity to reward them and let them know that, you know, they're being good, and so you're going to kick back and relax. Now, if there is one thing that a lot of people who come to our clinics are really concerned about, it's crossing water. Now, thankfully, there's not a big river running through here. I'm kind of grateful for that today. But I've had to simulate what a river might look like by my little bit of tarp, my logs. You know, there's nothing to be scared of with water. We live on the Bredbow River, and we have a couple of really big dams. Well, not really big, we have a couple of really nice dams that are really shallow and so, like, you can ride your horse in for ages. And we often have horses that come to our clinics who are, well, the owners generally are more concerned about riding in water than the horses. And there's a way to make sure that your horse is comfortable with that water, okay? And there's a way to make sure that you don't make it a confrontational experience for the both of you. So if I've got a mass of water in front of me and I've got a horse that's a little unsure about water, and I've had a horse down from Sydney for training, and I took her out in a clinic on the trail the other day, and I don't think she's ever seen water on the ground in her life. And I did this, what I'm doing now, for about she was a bit tentative about the water. I could feel her body language. It was kind of going, I don't want to do this. And I did what I'm doing now about 3 times. That mare walked straight into the dam. Interesting enough, I thought it was being funny, and I rode her through the dam 4 or 5 times, and then she sat down. Anyway, that was my fault. But you know what? I've done so much work with this mare. Like I said, I don't own her. She's just been sent to me from some training. I've done so much work with that mare. As soon as she sat down, and she just sat straight down, I asked her to get straight back up, and she got straight back up and walked on like nothing had happened. Everybody in the group thought it was hysterical. I had water halfway up my legs. But you know what? Nothing bad happened because I'd done all my preparation before I put her in that position. Okay? She trusted me enough that she knew that I wasn't going to try and drown her, and she knew I wasn't going to beat on her for sitting down in the water. So we go backwards and forwards. Can you see how I'm turning my horse? I'm turning him toward the water. The one thing we don't want to do, and a friend of mine were having a joke about this morning, I don't want to ride up to that river crossing, whether it's a dam or a creek or a river, and sit here and go, yeah, go Dobbin. Okay, so T will do it for me. That's the last thing we want to do, because we're facing our horse at something he's scared of. Anytime your horse is a little bit tentative about something, the absolute worst thing you can do is stand here and try and drive that horse into it, because he feels like he has nowhere to go. That is something threatening in front of him, and you're behind him driving him forward. That's when horses go up, okay? Or they madly run backwards. So we don't want to put ourselves in that situation. What we want to do is we want to bend them. And note, going back to what I said first thing, if I'm bent like this and this horse panics, I'm sitting in a one-rein stop. I'm safe. And my horse hasn't just had half his life scared out of him. So we'll go backwards and forwards like this, and what you'll find is your horse will start to step forward. And he will start to step forward. And suddenly he'll put a foot in the water. He has more trouble with picking his feet up over those logs than he does with the tarp. Suddenly your horse will have a foot in the water, and you'll go, oh, that was good. Don't, just ride on like nothing happened. You can pat him, you can tell him he's a good boy, do whatever you like. But I would keep just going backwards and forwards until we get another foot in the water, and then just ride him forward, bring him back around. We're teaching him that this bizarre thing that he can't pick his feet up over is nothing to be scared about. So we go like this. What you'll eventually find is that your horse will find it is much easier. Your force, and that might happen, just ride on. Keep his feet moving. Basis of all horse training. Right thing easy, wrong thing difficult. The right thing for this horse to do is to calmly and quietly step across there. The wrong thing for him to do is to get panicked and nervous and start stepping around all over the place. So, if I just keep offering him the opportunity to be good, he did it again. I'm not going to get phased. I'm just going to keep asking him. And eventually they will step, and they will step, and they will step, and they will just walk in, and you'll go, that was nice. What was I worried about? Okay. So, and then what you're aiming for is you're aiming to get to the point where you can ride your horse in here and he just goes across like this. So, something about that. We had a friend come riding with us at Easter time, and we went on a trail ride on Easter Monday, and most people would probably consider it fairly extreme trail riding where we went. And this friend of ours is quite scared about crossing creeks. Now, he tells me that his horse is scared about crossing creeks. I've known him for a long time, and I can guarantee you who of the two of them is the more scared about the creek, and it's not the horse. So we got him in the line, and that we were, riding with him, and there was four of us, and I told him to look up. Now, remember when you guys were learning to ride, you're told to look up, look where you want to go, keep your eyes up. There's reasons for that stuff. If you're looking down, slumped down like this tells your horse to stop. If you're looking up, going back to our body language again, if your eyes are up, your shoulders are back, and you're thinking forward, you've got your legs on, and you're telling that horse to go forward. So if I ride this old critter in here, and I ride slumped and not doing anything. Oh, yeah. Okay, so he did it. Yesterday he stopped. But that'll happen. What I really want to do is I want to ride in here, and I want to keep my eyes up. I want to be looking where I'm going, keep my legs on. I need to act like there's nothing to be scared of. The instant you start looking down at that creek and going, oh no, he's gonna jump, he's gonna step, he's gonna put his foot in a hole, you start going like this, and suddenly you become an ineffective rider and you're in a vulnerable position. So, sit up there, be confident in yourself. There's that old saying, fake it till you make it. You've been doing it for years. Be confident, okay? Your horse can feel that. I don't care if you don't feel confident. If you can try to feel confident, if you can act like you feel confident, if you can use your body language to be confident, that will translate through, okay? Gates. Obviously, I wasn't going to bring a 10-foot gate and put up in the arena today, so I've got my little rope gate. Gates cause a lot of stress for people. Again, they're a bit like creeks. They cause more stress for people than they do for horses. Gates are a fantastic training opportunity, and you don't need to get stressed about it. If you want to be safe opening gates, there's a few things I recommend. One, find one that actually swings. Two, find one that's got a proper gate latch on it. A carry and drag with a piece of baling twine or wire tying it up isn't the greatest gate in the world to be trying to build your confidence on. So when you go to do gates out in the trail, take your time, okay? It's not a timed event. There's no rush. People come to gates and they go, oh, got to do the gate, got to do that, got to go, and they get rushing and they don't give their horse time to kind of put it all together. So, go up to your gate latch and sit for a minute. Then when you're ready, gather your reins. An important thing that your horse should know is that if I do stuff like this, that does not mean go anywhere. I see a lot of horses that are rein driven because people, as soon as they want to do something, grab hold of the reins. So they come to a gate And the first thing they do is grab hold of the reins like this, which is fair enough because you just want to have hold of him, and the horse goes, I'm out of here. Okay? Practice some of this. Get to a gate. This horse is impatient. You will get him to a gate sometimes and he will be like, I've got to get through it now. I've got to get through it now. So I might sit here. Well, actually, honestly, I don't really ride him. His mum's horse. I just pinched him. So, like I make her sit here at a gate and do this. And just chill out and go nowhere. Okay? Then when I'm ready, I reach down and I do my gate latch. Kind of easy on this one. Now, here's your chance to practice a little backing up. Ask your horse to step around. Now, obviously, if you've got a swinging gait, the gait process is going to be a little different. Same thing again. Move it through. If I'm teaching horses how to open gates, like young horses, I might do this one step at a time, and I'll show you how in a sec. You know, but take your time, kick back, and don't be in a rush to just go. Now, if you're riding with other people, my absolute pet peeve, and it comes from my dad, because he taught me this when I was a kid. My absolute pet peeve is when you go do a gate and the people you're riding with just ride off. I will yell at people at clinics on the trail for riding off. It is not only bad horsemanship, it's rude. Okay? Wait. So, you know, if you've got someone who goes to ride off on you, and that brings me to my topic about being selective about who you ride with, if you're a little tentative about going out on the trail, think very carefully about who you take riding with you. Okay? I have plenty of friends who I love dearly who I don't ever want to go trail riding with. Okay? They're just not fun. And, you know, you need to be a little careful because at the end of the day, if your horse is the one that is playing up, you know, you need someone who's going to be sympathetic to that. And you need to take a little time. We spend a lot of time when we do the clinics on the trail. You know, you get that horse that has to be at the front. And, you know, you go out in the trail, and there's one that's got to be in the front time. We've got, I can't really show you when I've only got one person here, but if you've got you only need about 3 horses, I can fix that. Okay, very quickly. But you need people who are willing to help you and spend a little time. So just, you know, think about who you go riding with. You know, now if I'm on a young horse and I go to do a gate, I've got a horse that's really rushy, I will take every step and sit back for a minute. I will ask my horse to step back, and then I'll do nothing for a minute. I'll ask my horse to step through. Keep coming. And I will do nothing for a minute. Okay? I'll ask my horse to back up. And I will do nothing for a minute. See how it's all just flowing because nobody's getting rushed? And then when I finish my gate, biggest thing of all, I will sit for a minute. Okay? Have a yap to someone, you know. Look up at the trees. You're out trail riding. You're meant to be enjoying the beautiful bush. Kick back. Look at the trees. Listen to the birds. You know, life is about, you know, these days people are always in a rush. Everyone wants everything yesterday. You know, when you go out on the trail, spend a little time and enjoy it, and let your horse enjoy it too. But anyway, look, that's just a few things. Like, that's just the absolute basis of some stuff that I kind of consider important and that will keep you safe. Please, if you have any questions or there's anything you want to know about, or, you know, come and see me. We're happy to help you out. Yeah, but anyway, enjoy the rest of the field days and thank you all for coming along.